I thought Gianluca Scamacca looked excellent when he came on against Manchester City. Now, you'll have already heard my opinions about the game itself. I thought we played with too few attackers. However, even though we did play with attackers, I felt for all of the game, Bowen didn't pose a threat. Now, it was a one-off game. That's not Jarrod Bowen. We know Jarrod Bowen will be fit and firing and have a fantastic season. But the forwards that we did have didn't really pose any threat. I mentioned when we did our player ratings video, I thought Nathan Ake was just allowed to stroll through the game. Honestly, he looked like Franz Beckenbauer. He's not a bad player. I'm not suggesting Ake is a bad player. But I thought he was untroubled. We didn't trouble him at all. Rodri cruised through the game, completely untroubled by anything West Ham had to offer. So attack is a vital part of our game, and I thought there were too few attackers. But when it got towards the end of the game, we'd already run out of our options, hadn't we? Scamacca was on, and we'll talk about Antonio in just a second. Benrahma was on, and that was it. There was nothing there that was left. Now, we look forward to the next game, hopefully, fingers crossed. We will see Maxwell Cornet play. That's really something that we need to. And you look at that team against Manchester City, and it really did smack of the team that we saw last season. Just speaking to Gio a minute ago, and Gio reminded me that at the tail end of last season, after the Brighton game, David Moyes said, that's it, it's not good enough. If the team are going to play like that, they can't expect to play. They can't expect to be picked. Yet there we were again, pretty much starting the season with the team that we finished last season with. Now, I understand that's not reflective. If David Moyes had his way, then we'd have Agurd would be playing, Scamacca would be further along the line. Hopefully we'd have got the Cornet deal done in time. But I'm not convinced Cornet would have started, even if we had got the deal done in time. However, what was clear with Antonio breaking down in the way that he did was that we need another striker. And I don't buy that it's all about fitness, because the fitness one was a little bit weird. And I'm not on a massive downer about David Moyes. I think David Moyes is a fantastic manager, best manager we've had in years. I really do. But it's just, we seem to have a little bit of money to spend. I do hope that part of that spend up, particularly with Diop leaving, and David Moyes will want to buy another centre-back. I worry that David Moyes gets so fixated on centre-backs, he won't work out actually another attacker. Another attacking player is needed. I think maybe too frequently we pigeonhole people into positions, but it's an attacker, someone to create assists or goals. That's what I'm looking for. I hope he's still able to do that. But we looked off the pace and we didn't look sharp enough, and I wasn't happy with David Moyes' comments about that. Going into it, the first game against Manchester City, he alluded to the fact that we weren't ready, we weren't fit enough. Well, why not? Why weren't we fit enough? Because David Moyes schedules pre-season. That's what he does. He picks who we play. He picks when we play them. He's decided in recent years not to do too many games overseas, which is fine. I totally get it. But surely the benefit of doing that is that you're at home and you can get fitter. He says it like it's somebody else's fault. Oh, the players aren't fit enough yet because of pre-season. Well, that was your pre-season. In which case, do something differently. Arrange an additional pre-season game. Do more training. I don't know, don't do that thing where you have two games on the same day. Whatever, mix it up a little bit. Have one 2 days later. Do something else. So at least you start the season, you're fit. Don't get to the start of the season and think, oh, hold on, we're not fit. And it wasn't just a fitness in terms of sort of peak fitness and being able to run around and that sort of thing. It wasn't just that Antonio was unfit. Antonio was broken. And I didn't know this because I was in the stadium, but again, having spoken to Gio, he'd obviously watched it on telly, he was bandaged up apparently. Apparently Antonio started the game with bandaging. You probably saw it yourself. I wasn't aware of that. But before he went off, he'd already been down twice. And when I say down, he'd spent sustained periods on the floor with the physios coming on, you know, the old magic sponge and all the rest of it. So clearly he started the game broken. He carried on the game broken. This is not really good at all. Now, here's where I get to the point of bringing in the second striker. Because the second striker is going to need to be somebody that is probably going to take over and get the first choice striker position. That's going to be Scamacca. Well, we can't run Scamacca down and run him into the ground so he ends up like Antonio. Because actually what that game needed at that particular point, I thought, to chase the game. If you're going to have ambition to go and chase the game, which I don't think we did have, then you bring another striker on. You bring more attackers on, and we just didn't have it at all. Before I go any further, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, which you can download by clicking that link below. If you would like to find out exactly who we're being linked to, who we're selling, I was going to say we're selling, it's a D up to, it's Fulham, you know that by now anyway, or just any of our other transfer targets, anybody that we might be potentially eyeing up, any of our results, any of our injury news, anything relating to West Ham, then what you do is you sign up by using the link below. The app is free to download and free to use. But when you sign up to support West Ham, it takes all the West Ham news from all the newspapers and websites, puts them all into one place and delivers them straight to your phone. So what I'm hoping to read on that OneFootball app is that we are in for another striker. Now, originally, I wasn't that bothered about Ben Brereton Diaz. You know this. However, watched him play. I didn't watch the whole game. I didn't watch Blackburn's whole game, but he scored for Blackburn at the weekend. And he looked pretty sharp and he looked pretty quick. At 35 million, I'm not interested. But if what you're saying is that this guy's available for 15 million, as a backup striker, it might not be a bad thing to do. Because Antonio caused Man City no trouble at all. That sort of raging ball player, Antonio in beast mode, that can really trouble defenders is not there at the moment. I didn't read too much into pre-season, I never did. But now we can stop saying that. We're not in pre-season anymore, we're in the proper games. Antonio did not look fit in pre-season. I was hoping he was going to start and he was going to be really... It's not about being motivated. I'm sure he's motivated. I thought he was going to be fit and ready. He's not. He's not fit at all. And if we're not careful, we're going to find ourselves in a situation where Scamacca, who already looks really good, I mean really, really good, we're going to get to a situation where actually he's going to be playing the league games and then he's going to be playing the European games as well. And we'll be looking thinking, oh, hold on, how do we give this guy a rest? Because I think we might find ourselves in exactly the same situation that we did before. I read a few comments and somebody said Scamacca's got to start next week. I think we should start Antonio on the wing as well. I just don't think he's going to be fit enough. Don't be wrong, I think there will be times this season where Scamacca and Antonio both start at the same time, or they're playing, they feature on the pitch at the same time. But it's not enough. And when you looked at the way that we weren't able to inflict any damage on Man City, and yes, I know it's Man City, but last season we did. Last season we troubled them. Last season we bothered them. This wasn't the case. Some of it is fitness, but some of it's, look, two of our bigger players and more important players, Zuma and Antonio, do not look fit. They look injured, both of them. So yes, David Moyes knows about the centre-half. That's why he sold Diop. He's going to hopefully go out and get another one at all. Honestly, I wasn't even sure at the start of the season why we needed to sign a Gerd. Then I thought, I'll get it. If you'd have suggested, we need to sign another one as well, I'd have thought, no way. But we do. Actually, we do. Just look at that. We started against Man City with a back three. Back three's really meant to be three centre-backs. There's two full-backs in there. It's crazy, really. So, yes, we need to bring in another centre-half. That much is true. I am looking forward to seeing Cornet to get a little bit of supply line going. But the addition, it needs to be one more. I do wonder, actually, I kept on wondering myself, I wonder if I know they're different positions, but I'll keep wondering, would he have brought in Cornet if he'd have brought in Lingard? I know, totally different positions. I get it. But I think the reason I'm asking that is, do we have enough money for another attacking player and another squad place, if you like? I hope so, because David Moyes obviously alluded to the fact that he wants to bring more players in. I think I'm just frustrated with how long it's taken us to bring the players in. And I would understand it. If one of them got injured, fine, but it's almost like nobody was ready. None of the new signings were ready for the first game of the season. And that troubles me a little bit, because David Moyes himself has spoken about bridging the gap. He says it's going to be tougher. It's going to be tougher this season to get the same amount of points. What he's saying when he's saying that is points are precious. He was saying a similar thing last season, if you remember, that indicated points are precious. He was basically saying if we'd have got 3 more points, we could have finished above Chelsea. We have to find those points from somewhere. Forget the fine detail. He's saying points are precious. If points are so precious and every point counts, and it does, an extra 3 points, an extra 6 points coming in. If West Ham could get an extra 6 points this season above and beyond what we got last season, we're back in there and we're contesting it again, right? If those 3 to 6 points are so precious, why have you more or less surrendered the first lot? I don't understand that. By your own admissions, the team not being fit enough, and by the transfer policy, meaning that the new players aren't there, aren't ready. Players, it's almost like, I do think Moyes believes that by the end of the transfer window, or the end of the month, or well, is it the, I think it's the end of August, the transfer window, right? By the end of the month, start of September, we'll be fit, we'll be firing, and we'll have all the signings in that he wants, or most of them. But how many points have you got to surrender? It's not just, I know you look at Man City and you think, oh, hold on, they're a hard team to get points against. Well, Forest might not be easy. Brighton certainly ain't going to be easy. And let's be fair, if you rewind back to the very start of this season, actually not the start, it's the end of last season, before the transfer window had opened, everyone was hailing Aston Villa as the way to do things. Aston Villa had done business before even the transfer window was officially open. So Aston Villa are held in high regard. I know they didn't do so well on their first game, but these ain't going to be easy teams to play and to beat. I don't know why you wouldn't give yourself the best opportunity at the start by being fit and having a lot of options there. Anyway, I've sort of digressed. I've sort of drifted away from my main point, which is we need to buy another striker. We really do, or loan one. I don't even really care. But I'm really happy for Scamacca to be the main man there, for Antonio to support him. But we need somebody else. I just can't. Because if we don't, you understand what I'm saying? We're in exactly the same place as last season with one striker, and that's just not going to be good enough. I can't look at Antonio, and he has done a remarkable job, by the way, for West Ham. He's pretty much since we sold Haller, he's carried it all on his own shoulders, hasn't he? And he's done really well. But he doesn't look anywhere near as sharp as he did at the start of last season. And certainly the way he finished the season before that, when we played Norwich, if you remember. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Yeah, bit of a worrying time, actually, in terms of that. But Scamacca looks good, doesn't he? Doesn't he look good? He really does. Looks athletic, looks fast. The ability, he's quite happy to pull out wide and win the ball, retain possession. He's happy to do the flick-ons, happy to bat all the defenders. Just looks... I was really pleased to see it. I've seen a lot of comparisons with him and Haller. Hopefully you see that. It's a lot more dynamic than Haller. Haller wouldn't pull wide like that. Haller wasn't sort of up for the battle. Great finisher, Haller, obviously. But I was really, really pleased to see that. I hope David Moyes throws caution to the wind. Look, I think it's a really, really easy decision to make, really. When you're looking at Forest, he might not think that Scamacca is fully fit and ready. However, if you've got a choice, which is a 90% fit Scamacca, or you're looking at Antonio with a bandaged leg, and you're having to do all these ice baths and massages and everything you'd have to do, all these basically medical tricks to get him fit, painkilling injections. I don't know if all that's happening. But you look at him, he turns up bandaged up and injured. An injured Antonio or a 90% Scamacca? I mean, it's not even a debate, is it?